Hello, folks, and welcome, folks. Welcome. Happy New Year, folks, and to the Democrats, happy Insurrection Day. Oh, yes, yes. Now, unfortunately for the Democrats, the Republicans being divided amongst themselves, not being able to elect a speaker, has kind of taken away from Insurrection Day. January 6th is the worst day in history narrative. People are more focused on who would be the next Speaker of the House, for example. And there seems to be a problem there because I guess for once I could say the ultra MAGAs are kind of screwing us up. And they shouldn't be, because the fact is they only these now I believe five. I have to clean my glasses here. I guess these five. It was 20 the other day, but then some people grew up and figured, hey, Kevin McCarthy as speaker is better than having whatever Joaquin Hakeem Jeffries is speaker. And then, of course, you had your whole January 6th thing this morning. Oh, this guy was killed, and this was, killed by these insurrectionists. Don't think they mentioned the only person who was actually killed old January 6th one time because she happened to be an unarmed MAGA supporter. That's the name I was thinking, folks. What about John Sullivan? Have you heard anything about him? Nancy Pelosi? Anything about her other than, oh my God, this is the worst day in history. We owe eternal gratitude to these brave police officers that, protected our democracy and our capital and our Congress. But nothing about the fact that earlier on that day, Nancy Pelosi's daughter was following around with a camera, and she says, "Man, I wish Trump would come here. I'd just punch him out." Like they were like, and then John Sullivan, who is in Antifa and a BLM, too radical to even be in the two groups, going in there with a camera and holding a knife, saying, "Man, I'm going to get these Trump people to fuck all this up." Because he was dressed in MAGA gear and everything else. No. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that Donald Trump wanted to call up 1,200 National Guard agents, and Muriel Bowser, mayor of D.C., said no. Why? Because they wanted it to happen. They knew labeling all of us as insurrectionists was a riot, by the way. One of 600 riots that took place between March of 2020 and January of 2021. And there were many BLM riots after that, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay if it's people breaking out people's businesses, but people going into the Capitol to take selfies, I guess, is a problem. Now, granted, that is illegal, but the Capitol Police did let them in there. Some of them went a little overboard. You would have never caught the likes of me doing that. But again, it's all about Trump's bad and this, that, and the other thing. Even though he did say we're going to peacefully and patriotically march down to the Capitol to make our voices heard. But no. That is left out. When they play this on the fake news, they cut out the peacefully and patriotically from the speech and say, march down to the Capitol, make our voices heard. That's how they do it. You see, the most pervasive form of media bias is omission. They're omitting the other words. And even Chuck Schumer referred to it shortly afterwards as the erection. And the late, great Rush Limbaugh said, oh, he said the erection, folks, shortly before he died. And he was right, because he later referred to the Democrats as they're tubining right now. They're tubining over this. Of course, a take on the CNN and New Yorker contributor Jeffrey Toobin, who was caught schlonking his schlong when during an election simulation. Or is it an erection simulation? I don't know. Maybe ask Chuck U. Schumer about that, folks. So anyhow, It has been 13 votes. A 14th vote is set to come around 10 p.m., and we still don't have a Speaker of the House. Why? There is such beef against Kevin McCarthy within the House Republicans. I mean, they're almost willing to let it. First off, I'm going to have to see this because there's something that is really, really scary around here. With no Speaker of the House, who is in line to take the presidency? Third or second in line? We'll have to Google this real quick. I should have had this ready before the show. To take presidency. This is interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to find out the right. Patty Murray. Senator Patty Murray from Washington was at risk of losing her seat 2 years ago. Now, because she's a senator and there's nothing in, has been promptly elected president pro tempore of the Senate, which is really Kamala Harris. But because we don't have a Speaker of the House, that's second in line behind Kamala Harris. Do we really want this, Republicans? Do we really want this, folks? Do you really want Patty Murray to be second in line to be president of the United States if Joe Biden were to, like, I don't know, have a stroke or something, which is not beyond the realm of possibility because he can't put two words together straight? I mean, he's really been botching a lot lately, and he's very stressed about having to go to the border because he's going to have to admit his failures. Because we all know that Joe deep down is a racist. But yet the Republicans, even though we don't control much, in theory, because we don't control anything. A lot of these are representative elects. In fact, everybody currently is a representative elect because they haven't been sworn in yet, because you can't until you have a speaker. And although Kevin McCarthy has proven his allegiance to this party time and time again, he's not a Paul Ryan, he's not a John Boehner, or is it Boner? Is it Boebert or Baber? Because that one's up next. He filibustered that $1.5 trillion infrastructure bill, or whatever the hell it was, about a year ago for like 12 hours or more. It was about 12 hours, I think. It was a long time. That much I know. I was watching much of it. Does that not give you enough material to prove that he's qualified to do it? Or, I mean, Matt Gaetz, Florida. Nope, I want Donald Trump to be Speaker of the House. Well, that's a bit of a stretch. He wouldn't be able to do much because he's busy campaigning. I mean, it would be nice, but I don't think the rest of the party is going to go to it. A lot of people want Jim Jordan, but Jim Jordan already said he wouldn't do it. Steve Scalise might be an option, but McCarthy's on the table now, and he needs the votes. Because if it keeps becoming a hung Congress, after a while, it's going to be a problem. And that is it. So it is about time that we take care of this situation. People need to just get together and deal with it. Simple as that. Now, the list of the people involved in this, again, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, there was many more. There was 20. Now it's down to about 6, I think, impending this upcoming vote. Well, I need a little energy here. Oh, Bar Friday, folks. Now, great news here in the free country of Florida. Ron DeSantis has just been inaugurated as another term as governor. It was great. Now, we have, let's see here. Hold on a second. I'm going to do a couple things here. Okay. Okay, so this is a list of those who have flipped. Byron Donalds, who one wanted as the speaker, has flipped. Congressman from Florida. Anna Paulina Luna, Florida, flipped. These were people that were initially against McCarthy, folks. Andy Harris of Maryland, flipped. Ralph Norman, South Carolina, flipped. Andy Ogles from Tennessee, flipped. Scott Perry, Pennsylvania, flipped. Chip Roy of Texas, flipped. Keith Self of Texas also flipped. Now we have Lauren Boebert, who worked The View. Was it The View? I think it was The View, that stupid woke liberal inorgasmic woman show that's like the worst show on television. I think, was it them or was it someone on PMSNBC that suggested Boebert, oh, she's not going to win. She could just go be an OnlyFans model. I don't know. Maybe they were right the way she's screwing us over. But then again, you would have a Democrat in there, so we got to take what we can have, right? Boebert from Colorado. Again, I think she only won by maybe 1,000 votes. It was very close. I think it actually turned out to be a few hundred. I'm not 100% sure. Andy Biggs, Arizona lawyer, ran against McCarthy in the first round running for speaker. He was among the most aggressively promoted Trump's false claims in 2020. Blah, blah, blah. Not false claims, it's true. This is from Reuters, so you know it's probably a little Democrat lead. He opposes Eli Crane, longtime Democrat congressman in Arizona. Or he beat a longtime Democrat. Okay. Probably very closely opposed. And Matt Gaetz, well, he's a big that's not a false claim that the Capitol attack was instigated by far left extremists. But still, he had some, electoral criminal issues about sexual harassment going around. So I wonder if the Democrats have paid him off just to oppose this. Bob Good from Virginia opposed, and Matt Rosendale from Montana opposed. Well, Montana's an oddball, but you know what that is. So why? The question is, why do these folks not want Kevin McCarthy? Maybe what we need to do is unite as like the Republican Party of Florida, because we never have any problems here, right? The fact that these folks are attacking one another, they're going against, it's like they have to have what they want or nothing at all. That's not going to happen. We're not going to change everything. We just need a speaker so we could have our control of the House of Representatives. That is one half of one of the three branches in government. Now, folks can say, well, no, we have a conservative Supreme Court. Yeah and no. Because Coney Barrett, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh, that's three. If they would have gone along with Thomas and Alito in the let's take a look at the 2020 election, Donald Trump might still be president. But they didn't. So the three people that Trump appointed to the Supreme Court, along with John Roberts, who almost always goes with the liberals. Now, Coney Barrett, of course, went with the abortion thing because she's who she is. And Kavanaugh went with the abortion thing. And, they all went along with that, although I think Roberts went the other way on that. Roberts usually goes with the Democrats. So, ironically, so does just about everybody else that was in the Bush cabinet. Now, I always disliked George W. Bush. In fact, because of George W. Bush, when I was coming up through high school, I aligned with the Democrats. Although the only thing that I really agreed with the Democrats on was, well, I'm pro choice. And to an extent, I mean, I think, that these pro-choice people that say 15 weeks is a violation of a woman's rights. No, no, no. You're knocked up by 15 weeks. You have a choice. That's fine and dandy. Anything more than that, that's a gray area, and I don't want to get into it. But you had these Bush people anti-abortion, banned stem cell research. That was another reason that I aligned with the Democrats. I'm like, well, these people are going to get abortions anyway. And you're a Republican, if you're a Republican and you say you're 100% against abortion, but yet you don't like welfare and all these, I mean, because let's be real, the way the government system works, you have a bunch of people. Now, granted, 99% of them happen to be Hispanic or African American that have kids and they don't want to work, so they have kids to get a bigger check from the government. That's why they all vote Democrat, because the Democrats are all for that. So, as a self respecting Republican, you can't be 100% pro life because that is one more welfare check you're going to have to send out. And at least from what I've seen, those are the groups that get the fewest amount of abortions, are the minorities. So, when you say being pro life is anti minority, you're wrong. You're wrong, because they don't get them anyway. I've been to some of these places in Miami, Florida, and the majority of the ones you see walking out of there, and this is Miami, which is predominantly Hispanic city, happen to be white. Just saying. Just saying. Poor and white. But the Hispanics, oh no. Oh no. Oh, you open your legs. You're going to have that baby. I want my grandbaby. You better get to work. Oh, wait, we can just get welfare. Oh, yeah, we can do that. And then everything else. So, as a Republican, you have to be pro-choice because it saves taxpayers money. Democrats, sure, the taxpayers pay for the abortions if they choose to get them, and then they pay for the welfare and everything else. Maybe it's not making much sense to you, but that's kind of the way it works. And I'm a little rusty from not doing a show in 2 weeks. But anyhow, so that being said, we need to get control of the House. They need to just pucker up, elect McCarthy so we can investigate Fauci and this China virus, get into Hunter Biden so we can get Joe Biden the hell impeached, which probably isn't going to happen. We can impeach him, but the Senate has to vote to impeach, and because I don't know, Georgia got retarded again. Actually, they didn't get retarded. They just used the black vote to their extreme advantage and somehow got Raphael Warnock in there. I don't know how they didn't get Walker in there. It had to be the black women vote, which, again, I don't get because Raphael Warnock threw human urine on kids in a camp, but I guess that's neither here nor there either. But nevertheless, if we don't have unity as a party, we're never going to get anywhere. We have to unite behind Donald Trump, give him momentum so that you can have him competed against by the likes of Lindsey Graham and those who are never going to get a nomination. Let DeSantis wait till 2028 because you can't have, I think I may have said this on this program before, you can't have Trump and DeSantis on the same ticket. Much less could you have two roosters in the same hen house. It's not going to work. But two people from the same state can't run as vice president and president on a ticket. Otherwise, that state's electoral votes don't count. And if Florida's electoral votes do not count, we are guaranteed to be lost to the Democrats yet again. And we can't afford that. Now, on to the next thing. As I was saying, that Kevin McCarthy is no McConnell, no Paul Ryan, no Mitt Romney, none of these people. There's a lot of disappointment here on the Senate side of all these Republicans, and a lot of people are saying, why? Why would they vote for this omnibus bill? It's very simple, folks. They're guaranteed to get paid through September of next year. That's why. It doesn't matter what all the earmarks in it and everything else are, which the Democrats said they were all against, but they brought back earmarks. When Trump said we need to bring back earmarks, big bad Trump. Just like when Trump closed the border in 2020 to travel from China, he's racist. But when Biden got in and he did it, yay, Joe. See the double standard? I've always said Trump should just run as a Democrat. Try it. Primary Biden as a Democrat. Yeah, they hate him so much. But I don't know. Democrats work a certain way. If you put a D next to their name, you never know. Because let's not forget all these prominent mainstream Democrats like Oprah Winfrey and all them. Trump was a Democrat until Obama. Kind of like a lot of people. That was when the parties kind of flipped, and the Republican Party became the party of the middle class and the nice guy, and the Democratic Party became the party of the rich fat cats. Check it out. Anyhow, you had Mitch McConnell going around with Joe Biden a couple days ago to Kentucky to tout his Kentucky infrastructure bill, the omnibus package. All right, Joe and I have been good friends for a long time. We've been good friends for a long time. How do you really think so? Hunter gets all his free crack from me. I'm Cocaine Mitch McConnell. I sure love I don't necessarily do much of the cocaine there. Sometimes you need to stay awake on the Senate, listen, when I have to listen to Joe, but Hunter, he needs his fix, so I want to make sure he gets the cleanest stuff. Not a lot of cocaine Mitch McConnell has any fentanyl on it. Guarantee you that. I'll tell you what. You wonder why. Yeah, Mitch is a good friend, man. He's a real good friend. He gets stuff done, even though he's on the other side of the aisle. Yeah, that's because all my crack that I gave to Hunter made you the extra $10 million for the big guy. But we're not going to talk about that. No, that would be wrong. That would just be wrong. You see, this is what we're dealing with. It totally is. These people have been in politics their entire lives. They stick together like glue. Wonder where Joe Manchin was on all this. Kirsten Sinema left the Democratic Party. Joe Manchin, maybe he'll be next. Never know, folks. Other news, Damar Hamlin, safety for the Buffalo Bills, is now off ventilator, breathing on his own, and doing just well. And it was a beautiful thing, folks, to finally see the people in the NFL on their knees, not for political reasons, but praying for a fallen one of their own. It just goes to show you that you don't need to politicize sports, because it's not a good thing. I mean, once they stopped kneeling, I started watching football. I was getting into it until they started kneeling, then I kind of went the other way. But in this, everybody just came together, and it's something everybody has in common: to root for their team and everything else, and the love of the game, and the fact that the first things he wrote when he became conscious was who won the game. Well, nobody did, but I guess in theory, Cincinnati won their division because they didn't lose. So I don't know how this whole playoff thing is going to work out. But at least he's alive and well. Who knows whether, I mean, the odds. I mean, we could talk about having bad luck. The odds of that happening to you. I wonder if he got the vaccine. Oh, probably get canceled for that. But the odds of that happening are very slim to none. But now, so anyhow, a little bit to close out the show. I was in Knoxville, Tennessee for the holidays, the in-laws, and they said, "Oh, Miami is way more liberal than up here." I wore my Let's Go Brandon garb into many stores. I wear that stuff around here. At least one person at every store gives me a high five here in Miami. Not including Miami Beach. I don't go there. That doesn't count. That is basically we'll trade the conservatives from New York City and just wall off Miami Beach as a province of New York City. Take their taxes when they land here, and then give us a part of rural New York for our people, like maybe around Buffalo or something. But anyhow, you figure you're going into a coffee shop in the South, right? It's going to be. Wait, I rephrase, a coffee shop. Never mind. There were creatures in there. Usually I can tell the difference between a man and a woman. Up there, I really couldn't tell. There was one thing looked like a dude, but it had like some bags here. I wasn't sure what it was. Then there was another thing with half-shaved head and combed over pink hair. Wasn't sure what that was either. And I said no. No, you don't have that in Florida, because not in Miami, Florida, for sure. You might have it around Orlando. You might have it in Naples. You do have it around Miami Beach because, that's Art Deco. It's expected. But you would think in an area that was once, at very one point, was among the main capitals of the Confederacy, that you would have a little more self-respect. But instead, you wear Let's Go Brandon and people give you dirty looks. I think Tennessee's turning into a blue state. A lot of Californians have moved there. I don't know, man. And your governor is a little woke for a Republican. Anyhow, sorry. But here in sweet Florida, we got Governor DeSantis. And hopefully he remains governor throughout his term. Because remember, and this is the same thing I say, you want Trump to be president again. You know why? Because he only has one term. So he has to focus on nothing about campaigning, but everything on saving this country from the shithole Joe Biden and his handlers have turned it into. And if he was able to save it from 16 years of Mavis, which is Obama Bush, who were both horrible, Biden did twice that in half the time, twice the damage. Biden literally did twice the damage of Obama and Bush in, well, shit, that would be like 1/8 of the time. But I don't think that's Biden. I think it's AOC and Maxine Waters controlling Biden. So you're going to need someone that's completely undistracted for 4 years. You don't want someone that's going to have to worry about campaigning. So I think it needs to be Trump because he's the only guy that can only have one term and doesn't have to worry about campaigning. He fixed it once, he can fix it again. But guess what? Guess what? You Republicans that claim to be MAGA that are voting against McCarthy, you can't make America great again if we can't at least get some damn power. So pull your heads out of your asses, get to work, and let's get rid of these stupid Democrat policies as much as we can and counter Joe Biden, cut his spending for the last 2 years of his term. Let's go, Brandon. Pull your heads out of your asses. Catch you all later.